I was sitting in my home office, working quietly, when my phone made a little ping sound. It was a notification from our family group chat. I picked up my phone and saw a message from my sister, Kalindra. She had sent 3 happy celebration emojis like fireworks, and she sounded very excited. She wrote that she was finally buying Mara's beach house at a foreclosure auction. She said the bank was selling it for $400,000, but she believed the house was really worth at least $2.8 million. Kalindra said she would have it appraised next week. She also said that we could either flip it for a profit later or keep it as a family vacation house where everyone could go. I looked at my phone and saw that Dad had already responded. His message came very quickly, just 90 seconds after Kalindra's. Send you $200,000. Your mother and I are in, Dad wrote. Mom replied too. About time that place got put to good use, she said. My younger brother Kalen immediately asked, can I get in on this too? I have $50,000 to invest. Kalindra answered back quickly, family only. I already have the down payment ready. The auction is Thursday. I stared at my phone frozen. The beach house. That was my house. The very same house I had bought in 2019. The house I had been paying the mortgage for carefully for 6 years. The house that had never once been in foreclosure. I didn't answer the chat. Instead, I opened my banking app. I checked my mortgage account. The number stared back at me. $0. I had paid off the house completely, 3 weeks ago. That was $1.2 million paid off early. The house was mine, entirely mine, free and clear. Then my phone buzzed again. A private message from Kalindra appeared. Don't worry about the house, she wrote. I know you're struggling. This way it stays in the family. You can even visit sometimes if you ask nicely. Struggling. That word. The same word my family had used for 6 long years to describe my life. That word let them feel comfortable while ignoring everything I had worked for. For 6 years, my family had acted like my life was a sad story. They said the beach house was my mistake. They said the mortgage was my anchor of debt. They said my career as a marine conservation consultant was some kind of midlife crisis. What they didn't know was that my consulting job paid $240,000 a year. The beach house wasn't just a house, it was my office, my research station, and my home. The mortgage had been manageable. Paying it off early was part of a smart plan. I sat down at my desk and opened a blank document on my computer. Not for them, for me. I called it the ghost ledger. I began writing down every time my family had ignored me, dismissed my achievements, or made me feel small. 2021, I won a regional conservation award. My family didn't even mention it. Cost, my success was invisible to them. 2022, I was featured in a National Geographic article. Mom said, that's nice, and quickly changed the topic to Kalindra's new car. Cost, my pride and joy were not celebrated. 2024, I paid off a $1.2 million mortgage early. I didn't tell anyone. Cost, my achievement and happiness were quietly ignored. 2023, I spent 12 months writing and publishing a research paper on coastal ecosystem preservation. Dad asked, did it pay anything? When I said no, he said it was a waste of time. Cost, my work was dismissed, my time considered worthless. I kept writing down more examples. Every family dinner, I was asked when I would get a real job, while Kalindra's small bank teller job was called stable and secure. The family celebrated Kalindra's promotions and purchases, like her buying a $40,000 car, with cake, champagne, and hours of discussion. I bought a research boat for $85,000, and they called it wasteful. Cost, my accomplishments were ignored, while hers were amplified. Phone calls I made often went unanswered, but if Kalindra called, everyone picked up immediately. Cost, my priority in the family was never respected. My birthdays were forgotten 3 times in 6 years. Kalindra's birthdays were never forgotten. Cost, I never felt equal, never mattered the same way. By the time I finished writing, my list had grown to 52 line items. Every achievement they ignored. Every success they rewrote as a mistake. Every celebration they refused to share. I remembered something my therapist once told me. The sunk cost fallacy. It's when people keep investing in something because they've already put so much in, even if it's not working. I realized I had been doing that with my family. I kept investing my love, time, and energy, hoping that someday they would finally notice me, celebrate me, and love me unconditionally. But some slot machines never pay out. Some family members never celebrate your victories. This moment, this exact moment, felt like a turning point. Not when I bought the beach house. Not when I changed my career. Not even when I paid off my mortgage early. No, the moment was right now. Standing in my kitchen, salt air coming through the open windows, looking at a family chat where they celebrated trying to steal my home. Something became crystal clear. Family isn't just people who share your blood. Family is people who show up when blood isn't enough. My family never showed up for me. Not once. Thursday morning, 9:47 a.m., Kalindra posted again in the family chat. At the auction now. Beach house mine in 20 minutes. Can already taste the margaritas on that deck. I was in a meeting with a client, talking about a $180,000 coastal restoration project. My phone started ringing. The number was unknown. I ignored it. Second call. Same number. Third call. I excused myself and answered. Hello. I said. Hi, this is Thessarian Vale, Senior Vice President at Coastal Federal Bank. I'm calling urgently because we have a problem. A woman named Kalindra Chin contacted our foreclosure department, saying she wants to buy a property at 847 Ocean Vista Drive. She claims she represents you. My heart stopped. My property? I asked, trying to stay calm. Yes, he said. Your property. But it's not in foreclosure. You paid off the full mortgage 3 weeks ago. One of our smoothest transactions this year. But Kalindra is at the courthouse right now with a $400,000 cashier's check, claiming she is buying it at auction. She says she's your sister. She isn't. She doesn't represent you. She doesn't have your permission. I took a deep breath. So she's trying to commit fraud? Yes, said the banker. Exactly. We're bringing in our legal team. Please stay on the line. The investigation began. Step by step. Step 1. The bank carefully checked all documentation. Mortgage origination papers from 2019. Payment history for 72 consecutive months. Never late. Early payoff authorization. Current title in my name. Kalindra's claim? Zero documentation. Just fake foreclosure papers she had made from a free template online. Step 2. Fraud alert issued. The $400,000 cashier's check Kalindra brought to the courthouse was frozen. Even Dad's $200,000 contribution to her plan was frozen in the process. Step 3. Family notification. The bank called Kalindra directly. I asked them to put me on speaker. Miss Kalindra Chin, said Thessarian Vale. This is Coastal Federal Bank. The property at 847 Ocean Vista Drive is not in foreclosure. It is owned completely by Ms. Mara Chin. Your attempt to purchase it without permission is considered fraud. We are required by law to report this to local authorities. Did you make fake documents to try to buy it? There was silence on the line. Kalindra's voice shook when she spoke. I need to call my lawyer, she said. The call ended. 30 seconds later, the family chat exploded. Kalindra, Mara, did you tell the bank I'm trying to steal your house? Dad, what's happening? The bank froze $200,000. Kaylin, wait, the house isn't in foreclosure. Mom, call Kalindra right now and fix this. I took a deep breath and typed one message, then saved a screenshot in a folder labeled evidence. I live here. It's my home office. I paid off the $1.2 million mortgage 3 weeks ago. The house is mine, free and clear. Kalindra attempted to fraudulently purchase my property. The bank is investigating. I did not authorize any of this. Then I left the group chat. I sat down in my office chair and looked around. The house smelled faintly of salt from the ocean. Sunlight bounced off the water through the windows. My home, my space, my office, my research station. Everything I had built for myself was here. No one could take it away. All those years of feeling ignored, of feeling small, of having my hard work dismissed, they were not my fault. The ghost ledger helped me see clearly. My family's treatment had nothing to do with my worth. It had to do with them. I realized something very important. Celebrating yourself, standing up for yourself, and protecting what is yours are not selfish. They are necessary. I also realized something else. Family can hurt you, but your life is yours to live. People may try to rewrite your story, but only you know the truth. I leaned back in my chair and smiled quietly to myself. I had won. I had always been winning, even when no one noticed. I had fought for my dreams, my work, and my home. And now, finally, I had proof. My house, my career, my achievements, they were mine. I didn't need approval to enjoy them. I didn't need permission to celebrate them. I opened the ghost ledger again and added one more line item. Cost of believing in myself despite being ignored, priceless. I closed the laptop. The sun glinted on the water outside. I felt calm, strong, and free. My home, my life, my choices, they were all mine. And just like that, everything changed. My phone rang right away. I didn't answer it. I just let it ring and ring. 6 calls in a row. I didn't move. I just turned off my phone. Sometimes ignoring things is the only way to stay calm. Step 4. The police started investigating. 2 weeks later, the county fraud team took the case. Detective Isolde Vera was in charge. She carefully looked at all the proof we had. There was Colindra's fake foreclosure paper. There was her cashier's check. There was the money my dad had sent. And there were the family group chat messages. Everything was together like pieces of a puzzle. "This is pretty clear," Detective Vera said to me on the phone. "She made fake papers to buy a house she didn't own. Your dad's part makes it a little more complicated. He gave money for the fraud. Legally, he could get in trouble too." I asked, "Will there be charges?" "The district attorney is looking at it. At least your sister will face charges for trying to commit real estate fraud and forgery. Your dad might face charges too, if we can show he knew the house wasn't actually in foreclosure. The group chat shows he sent money just 90 seconds after her message. No checking, no questions. That helps our case." Step 5. The police collected all the evidence. 3 weeks later, the bank's special team got Colindra's browser history with a warrant. A browser history is like a diary of all the websites someone visits. And her history told the whole story. She had searched how to buy foreclosed houses at an auction. Can family members buy foreclosed houses? Download a foreclosure notice template. What if the owner fights a foreclosure sale? Penalty for fake property purchase. California rules. Can you go to jail for fake foreclosure papers? She knew what she was doing. She researched everything. And she went ahead anyway. Step 6. It was time to get the money back. For weeks, the frozen $400,000 sat in a legal tangle. Colindra's $200,000 came from her savings and a home loan. Dad's $200,000 came from their retirement account. Kaylin's $50,000 never went through. Colindra got a lawyer. She said, "I really thought the house was abandoned and in foreclosure. I saw it online. I wanted to help the family." The prosecutor, the person who tries to prove someone did something wrong, said, "Show us the listing." She couldn't. The listing never existed. There was no house for sale like that. She had made it up. Step 7. The official charges were filed. 5 weeks later, Colindra Chin was charged with attempted real estate fraud, forgery, and filing fake documents. Dad was charged as an accessory to fraud. The family group chat exploded. Kaylin called me crying. He said, "Mom, this is ridiculous. Colindra made a mistake. Colindra, Mara is destroying our family over a house. Dad, facing charges because my daughter is vindictive. Kaylin, maybe we should have checked if the house was really in foreclosure." Kaylin sent me screenshots. They were saying I was the villain. I stayed calm and said simply, "Yes. I'm sorry. I believe you want to do better. But whether you actually do, we'll see." Step 8. The plea deal. 8 weeks later, Colindra's lawyer worked it out. She pleaded guilty to attempted fraud. She got 5 years probation, a $50,000 fine, and had to pay restitution to cover legal fees. She didn't go to jail. Dad's charges were dropped because he agreed to help the court and admit he gave $200,000 without checking if the house was real. His money was returned, minus $47,000 for legal fees. Step 9. Professional consequences. 12 weeks later, Colindra's job as a bank teller was over. Her boss fired her the same day the charges were filed. A person convicted of fraud cannot work in banks. She had been studying real estate online, but now she could never get a real estate license because of her conviction. Step 10. The social fallout. The court case became public. Local news covered it. Woman tries to buy sister's $2.8 million beach house by fraud. Dad helped. Dad had bragged to his golf friends that they were buying a $2.8 million house for $400,000. Now everyone knew he had tried to profit from his daughter's supposed trouble. Invitations to parties stopped. People stopped talking to him. Mom sent me one text. "You could have handled this privately." I blocked her number. The ghost ledger taught me something about revenge. Revenge isn't anger. Revenge is patience turned into a plan. It's letting people show who they really are before you show what you know. Colindra didn't just try to buy my house. She tried to profit from my supposed failure. She celebrated it. She even invited the family to celebrate with her. She turned my fake foreclosure into a family investment opportunity. And Dad wired $200,000 in 90 seconds. Not to help me, but to help Colindra profit. No phone call. No, "Are you okay?" Just immediate financial participation in what they believed was my ruin. That's what the ghost ledger documented. Not just the things they ignored, but the pattern underneath. They needed me to fail so their ordinary lives could feel successful. When I paid off a $2 million mortgage early, no one celebrated. That broke their story. I was supposed to be drowning in debt, not thriving. I was supposed to need help, not be independent. Colindra's fraud attempt was just the loudest version of what they'd been doing quietly for 6 years. Trying to take what was mine and make it look like they were generous. 2 years later, the beach house is still mine. The deck where Colindra imagined drinking margaritas is where I drink coffee at sunrise. I review satellite data for marine conservation projects. I look at maps of the ocean and watch the animals. It's peaceful here. I received a letter from the National Marine Conservation Foundation. They created a $100,000 fellowship in my name for young researchers. The press release mentions my beach house as a model for living in research. I didn't tell my family. I don't tell them anything anymore. Dad sent me an email. You didn't have to press charges. We're family. I didn't respond. I thought about all the ways family is supposed to mean support, but somehow, it only applied when they needed grace. Not when I needed it. Kalen still calls sometimes. We talk carefully. He's in therapy. He asked, "How did you know to save everything, document everything?" I said, "I didn't. I just stopped believing their story about my life." The ghost ledger sits in a folder on my desktop. 52-line items of theft that left no physical evidence. I don't open it anymore. I don't need to count what was taken. I'm too busy documenting what I've built. I've learned that life is about building, not counting what others take. I am busy with my projects, my work, my ocean studies, my coffee at sunrise. I am busy living my life. The account is closed. The balance is 0. I am finally completely, permanently free. I don't need revenge. I don't need to prove anything. I am living proof that hard work, honesty, and patience win. The beach house is mine. The ocean is mine to study. My projects are mine to grow. The ghost ledger taught me everything I needed to know about people, but now it just sits quietly in a folder. I don't open it. I don't need to. I focus on what I have built, not what was taken. I focus on the sunrise on my deck, on the sound of the waves, on helping young researchers through the fellowship in my name. I focus on living a life that is my own. I have learned something very important. People will try to take from you if they can, but you can still be happy, successful, and free. That is what matters. And that is the story of how I faced betrayal, fraud, and family conflict, and still came out stronger, wiser, and peaceful. The ghost ledger is closed. My life is open. My balance is 0. And I am free. Completely, permanently free.